Welcome, I'm Kenneth Andre, Tenjutsu Master and Mystic Messenger. Everything that I share and say and do is for a reason. If there sounds like a contradiction, there isn't. Investigate further. I hope you're all doing well out there. Blessings and love to you all. Again, I'm not part of any religious belief system or secret society, any belief system of this world. I'm all about the truth. And when it comes to revealing this truth, I am not to hold back. Now, I'm jumping on here to share with you what I am receiving at the moment. This is mind-blowing. Be present and pay attention. Now, as I mentioned, we are part of something very unique. And I've been sharing as much as I possibly can, keeping it basic and simple in regards to the revealing of the mysteries. I'm aware many are not grasping the things in the channel to a greater degree. I know many make their connections and receive revelation and they get a lot. And it doesn't matter. As long as you are focusing on the Lord that's in you, staying, should we say, sober and in prayer, following Spirit, God, turning to God with the times that we are in. Many of you are sealed and belonging to the Lord. Remember, the meekness inherits the earth. And many are aware they're in a world where they don't belong. They are waking up to the fictitious shallow century copy reality and the degradation of the host body system, the age we find ourselves in. So many are waking up. Of course, there is an adversary. This is being exposed now to a greater degree, where we can see there is unseen forces at play that don't want the many to know of the door that opens up in the Mazzaroth in connection with the door that's in us, that there would be an interdimensional, should we say, an interdimensional activation that occurs within many people where they would leave one age to another. They want to keep everyone as captives. It's about the currency of souls. Of course it is. That's the language we get in the Bible. And so they don't want the masses to know that there is this potential, what people term a rapture event, where many coming to maturity seeking truth had enough, grown with knowledge and wisdom, that they would exit. Otherwise, they would lose the currency, their souls. This is the language we get told in the Bible. Is this not true? If you do your deep dive going into all our spiritual texts, you'll see the same language there. It's especially told us in the Bible. These entities and souls. These entities. Yeah, the unclean spirits. The tarnished souls out there who are capturing other souls to be a part of their system. I said, do not get pulled into this world. Don't become anyone else's harvest. So I shared with you this hypercube, okay? The inside forms the outside, and we are told in the Bible to do the works, be a doer of the word and invest. The measuring rod goes in, not out there in the courtyard being tread on by the Gentiles, and to keep watch for our deliverance from this world. He says, I have taken you out of the world because you do not belong to the world. I have a wonderful future for you. Be in the world, but not of it. You don't belong here. You are foreigners, strangers, aliens in a strange land, going through the 7 eyes of the Lamb. We get in the prophecy that many of us will be, get your words out, we will be groaning inwardly and bursting at the seams. Is this not true with so many of us? And with everything that's going on, we can see the patterns in the Bible in regards to the time that we find ourselves in. There's nothing new under the sun. We must do our research and grow with knowledge and wisdom and look at the patterns, what's happened in the past as far back as we possibly can before it becomes too obscure, because the adversary is covered it so we don't make too many connections. So you have to really do the works with Father, to go so far back enough to see the recurring patterns, to see what happened before it was all covered up. There's nothing new under the sun. I shared with you this image. We talked about the infinite mirrors, the mystery thereof. Okay, about you being in your cubic reality and your immediate environment is like a screen. The terrestrial world is a sacred mirror, a feedback loop to subconscious. And I shared with you this image, talking about reality, the nature thereof. Things are not what they seem. There's a lot going on. Those that open the matrix belong to the Lord. So I had another nap. I've been somewhat exhausted, okay, and having strange dreams. I've been doing a lot. Everything for a reason. I get up not so long ago, go downstairs to finish off this lovely tuna pasta. Thank you, Mum. I love you. It's gone. And I'm sat there in the sitting room. Of course, I threw the pasta in bread. I throw everything in bread. I stick on YouTube, and this thumbnail is presented, and I just push play as I'm going to eat my pasta. Bro Rick, okay? I've posted it in my community tab. All right? I had a dream about the exact hour of the rapture, down to the minute. So I'm sat there with my pasta. I just click it. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Now, as many of you know, over the years, I've been watching the rapture dreams and doing my own due diligence, using my own spiritual discernment. And I love simology. Father's taught me simology. And I'm paying attention for occurring words and symbols in the language, reading between the lines. And I have noticed this pattern occurring and these key words that keep occurring with certain events. Like there was many rapture dreams connected with Halloween and other, should we say, events that happen during certain seasons. Of course, there is a convergence of the events and symbols and messages, especially with the numbers, to that point, as I've mentioned in the channel. Don't worry if that's confusing. So I'm sat here listening to this brother. I had a dream about the exact hour of the rapture down to the minute. As I'm sat there eating my pasta, listening to him, my mouth dropped. Right? He literally mentions about I'm going to be careful how I word this. I'm careful what I say in my channel. About the captives being released at 9:01. My mouth dropped. Those who've been following me for a while, you know why. Remember, some time ago now, my field watch stopped at 9:01. He's talking about this dream with two moons, one static and the other is like moving, ascending. And I'm like, yeah, I see that. But when he mentioned the 9:01, my mouth dropped. You can't make this up, guys. I'm like, Father, you're shouting out here. I realised. Okay. Remember this? Moon, mirror, earth, door, firmament. The waters separating the waters. Okay. We want to go from this world to the next, to the high octave and sphere. And I mentioned, okay, we go from here. There is an aspect of ourself. 3 verses. Did you invest upon the spirit man within you? And there is an event where there is a fold, like a ripple, the connectivity and correspondence with consciousness. If there's an event that happens on the world stage by certain parties who are aware, or should we say certain schools of thought, if you do an event on the world stage that's in, should we say, reflection of the heavens, it can affect it all. It will send out ripples out to the collective unconscious. And there could be these strong influences. That's all I'm going to say. Of course, many of us, we are sealed. And I mentioned there is this fold that takes place and a passing through the door, an interdimensional activation that occurs within us. And suddenly we find ourselves in a new age where our eternal heavenly homes, not made of human hands, will be erected all around us. So how do we get out? There is an event where there is a joining in the field and we pass through to the other side. But it's like a filter. as we're told in all our spiritual texts, even the Bible, okay, the meekness will inherit the new earth, okay. A new heaven and earth has come down to us. We have accepted the instructions and corrections. We have our testimony. We've done our investment. We are growing inwardly and bursting at the seams, knowing there is this event. This event, for many, they go down. For others, they go up. Jacob's ladder, snakes and ladders. There's lots of imagery with the allegories and, should we say, sacred texts that makes us aware of the harvest for the angels. For Father is not mocked, man will reap what he sows. For my name's sake I do this. God is a law of consciousness, mind. The old Egyptian axiom, all is mind. And so it was paramount to get knowledge about God, about reality, and our existence within it in connection with the 10 virgins. 5 only had their vases full of oil, knowledge, wisdom, and light. Let your eye be single and your whole body full of light, and turn into the Father, opening the door so Father comes in, sips and dines with you. Because there is an event connected with the mirrors, as I've been talking about, and the moon. Okay? A joining, a passing through. So when I was listening to this wonderful gentleman and he mentioned 1 minute past 9, my mouth dropped because I'm like, here it is again. Now, I've posted that video in my community tab, and he mentions about Jerusalem, etc., the time zones, and that these occurring numbers occurred again. Now, I know for us, where I am, I heard it will happen at 3 o'clock. I don't know what this is actually referring to. 3 in the morning? Being ex-military, 3 o'clock to me in the afternoon is 1,500 hours. So I don't exactly know what that's referring to. As I've mentioned in the channel, I just heard it's clear as day. It will happen at 3 o'clock. And I don't know if that's referring to actual time or the season or an event, because as many of you know, I've been doing this for so long, and so much of the symbolism with the signs given to us with the celestial events and the luminaries, the things that I've learned can also give me a message. This is referring to 3 o'clock. I hope that makes sense. Nonetheless, I keep watch at 3 o'clock when the veils are at its thinnest, etc. Of course, learning about the space-time continuum, how the cubic realities and time streams pass each other as though some fold, you can find yourself being branched off, okay, translated, or should we say ushered over the threshold of the door. And this door's in us with an interdimensional activation with the pineal gland. At that point in time, there's this pause and relocation. We got to a high octave. That's the kind of language that I've been getting from Spirit. It's 4 minutes past 4. That's 44. 4 door. Okay, last year I talked about Danny Darko. We mentioned about the connection with Halloween. That's not to say nothing may not happen beforehand. We got the 17th coming up. We get the language. Things happen early for the elect's sake. And we are groaning inwardly and bursting at the seams. And many of us are grievously wounded from this whole horrific process of transformation. I know I am, and there's individuals out there that I'm aware of that have gone through a lot, just like I have, waiting to be delivered. We have been under these chains, prisoners of Christ, yet still in an age where we don't belong. Crying out to Father, Abba, deliver us from this present evil world, as though we're trying to wake up from a nightmare. So we talked about this last year with the allegories and the connections we kept receiving. Many were talking about Halloween with their rapture dreams, as I mentioned. So there's something here, something connected with the season that we are in. You see what I'm saying? I'm following the images, the patterns, and they are all converging as though it's a countdown clock, as I've mentioned in my channel. we get this scene, okay, with the eye and the hand, which I've talked about. Yes, we get a lot of computer binary code on the screen there, which I've recently been talking about. I'm keeping this very basic and short as I can so it'll upload quick. We got Donnie Darko with the mirror. Okay, and we've been talking about mirrors. We've transmuted the darkness into light. With Father, the pruner, building upon us, where we've been listening to the instructions, accepting the corrections, and putting on a new man. Being born of spirit. I said last year, watching the Illuminaries, we should have been in a particular state for many of us who really belong to the Father, so we can do this works and assist in man being adopted into the body of Christ, coming into the light of it all. I mentioned at the Halloween party in Donnie Darko, there's imagery, a language of a portal. Now, watching this scene, what occurred to me, he's by the fridge, Frank. After the portal merges with his face, then things start to change for him. All right? Again, it all depends on your name, your nature. We know where we're going on the crown arrow with our conviction and our faith, testimony, our knowledge. There is a wonderful future. Father says, it's not my will to hurt you, but to give you a wonderful future that will prosper you. So we're getting these, should we say, symbols and signs and high watch periods of the season that we are in. So we keep watch and alert. We keep sober and be in prayer. So I do investigate Halloween, the 31st, 3 o'clock, and we have Venus in Spica in Virgo. Right? Language connected with harvest. We've got the sun. Okay, just going into Libra, the scales. Now, this is in connection with a language, imagery with Taylor Swift's music video, Karma, in the beginning, where you see her giving it a depiction of the scales. And you see the sun behind her. I find that fascinating. We got Mars also in Libra, the red one, Horus, and Mercury in Scorpio, the activator. This is in connection with the Scorpion in the end scene of iPet Goat 2 with the depiction of Christ on the boat. Bear with me. I look where the moon is and it's 70% 7. All right, here's the date. Right, and it's in Aquarius, right in the phallus. I've talked about this. Again, everything I share is for a reason. I mentioned about the golden phallus, or your attention, the measuring rod going into the door. I shared with you the Egyptian secrets and mysteries with the capstone or the cornerstone, and the doors with the mirrors. Okay, we've turned to the light, to life. Let your eye be single and your whole body full of light. Your terrestrial and celestial. Now, this is where it's going to get strange, especially if you're new to the channel. Those who've been following me for a while, they're aware of this. So I'm covered in tattoos with sacred and secret words, numbers, symbols, sacred geometry. I'm literally covered from my chest right down to my feet and on my arms. All right. It's strange. This is something that Father has got me to do. And I received the sacred keys. This is Pleiades. And I mentioned being a mystic messenger, I don't get spots, but if I get a strange spot or a bite or a cut or an injury near a particular symbol, I know there's some sort of significance to it. As I mentioned, everything happens for a reason. I'm paying attention to my terrestrial media environment as well as my form. Many of you already know I do this. Well, I'm going to share this with you. Again, I've got to share everything with you. This is from Father. I'm here to glorify our Father's name, the Lord Jesus Christ. This is what I was tasked to do, and I've got to be completely honest and open about everything. So, as many of you know, I do a lot of intense home fitness to keep me mentally healthy, to keep healthy, to do this works, because it's intense, holding all this information. I eat healthy, I keep constructive, I do like fitness. I don't go to the gym, I just do a lot of home fitness, push-ups, sit-ups, etc. Only recently, I received a injury, and I was like, what is this about? Just out of nowhere, I noticed I started getting tired a lot quicker. Symptoms of exhaustion, which from my experiences through my life, being ex-military, served for 12 years, if I've sustained an injury I'm unaware of, I get tired quick. And then I investigate because I get so busy, not really paying attention of the physical form, because I was built like a tank, and sometimes things catch me unaware back in the day when I was asleep. So with hindsight and from experience, I know that I've sustained an injury somewhere. Well, if you look here, I've got a bit of swelling here with the AC joint, with the collarbone. All right. It's just a bit of swelling. And I was like, Father, what is that about? As I'm putting this together, remember, everything happens for a reason. And I know about Neville Goddard with the pinning in the shoulder, which I've already shared in the channel. But we have Jupiter in the shoulder of Pollux in Gemini, also on this date. And this is the Golden Crown. Go out and meet him, one like the Son of Man on the clouds on the Milky Way. Pollux, which is also mentioned a lot in people's dreams. See, I'm getting this convergence of these keywords that keep popping up in people's dreams, and it's converged where these symbols, this language is on top of each other, where I'm seeing the countdown clock. I'm keeping watch. We are getting strong signals and signs of a high watch season. Nonetheless, we keep going forward. Guys, you can't make this up. We are receiving this from Spirit. We are part of something very unique. I feel it. I know it. I'm tasked to come on here and share everything with you. There is a wonderful mystical transformation that's going to occur with us. And I've warned you so that when it happens, you will believe in Father, who had shown us beforehand, as he tells us he does in the Bible, for those who believe, who go forward, walking with the Father. He says, I will show you. I will always show you beforehand. Also, on the 31st, 3/22, we got our Swan Comet in the Octans, if I can say it right, the device used for navigation on ships. Right, it's proper in the constellation now. Again, a language given to us through symbology in connection with the allegories in music videos and movies. For example, we get the end scene of I Pet Goat 2 with the depiction of Christ in the boat, and Taylor Swift's music video Karma, where she's on the boat sailing. This is in connection with the Egyptian mysteries and secrets, with Horus on the boat, where we go from one age to another. Even in music videos like from Michael Jackson, where you see the children rising up to the boats and heading off towards the moon. The mirror. Okay, release the captives. All right, and pass through. These are the vessels, a ship, the star that comes out of Jacob. You can also term it symbolically a starship. And there is this event where suddenly we go from one age to another. We may receive a signal. Father says, I'm doing a new thing, but who can perceive it? We may receive a flash. Jesus Christ comes from the east to the west to reward all those who have done the works. A flash in our mind's eye, in our eyes, and all of a sudden your eternal heavenly homes will be erected all around you. How abrupt and subtle. Again, I say this, I believe it's what you are open and receptive to. and how mature your soul is to accept the wonderful transformations. This is something that I've learned doing this a long time, since 2011 now. Father acts like a mother to Jerusalem. However, like I said, it's going to be like a Mandela effect on steroids, okay, where you're going to find yourself in these wonderful transformations, even with your form. And the evils vanish. You go looking for your enemy, you will not find them. We're told this in the Bible, guys. Have your conviction, have your faith. We are going forward into a wonderful future. We're part of something very unique. Okay, I'm also going to share this with you. So Egypt, the Romans in Egypt, okay, they built up a lot of their structure around Egypt. You find so much of the Greek mythology also in Egypt, with the library of Caesar there too, taking all the data, people's books and manuscripts from other locations coming into Egypt when the Romans were there, taking all the knowledge. Through my investigation and doing my research, so much of what Egypt had become Rome and Greek. It's becoming. This is going to sound very strange. You have to do a lot of research and have a deeper perspective how things work in reality. And so you may have an Egyptian goddess. You can also find her, and I'm saying this for my mum, also as a, should we say, Greek goddess. I mention this because I had a dream, and I saw my mum. She had these golden curls in her hair. She looked so young, and with learning symbology, I knew that was my mum. And this language, as though I had this innate knowing, it is a Greek goddess. I'm like, that's mum? Of course, I learned about, or should I say, received more confirmation about me being this warrior king. Again, I don't say this for any ego or pride. I don't put myself above anyone. There's nothing special about me. I'm just the same as you. But yes, we played many lives, and our soul has, should we say, obtained a lot through our journeys, guys. I'm literally just telling you, being honest. I've been broken and torn to pieces. I know I'm being watched by the Lord in the things that I'm saying. At least Father will know that I've been honest and open in everything that I've shared. And that's what Father wanted me to do. That was what I was tasked with. So I say this because my mum received a message years ago that she was an Egyptian. This makes so much sense to me with all the learning that I've done, that she was an Egyptian, and then I see her as a Greek goddess, should we say, a soul also playing a role during the Roman time too. That's what I'm referring to. Many of us, we have done this many times, played our roles through the ages. This is true. It's told in our Bible, Apocrypha, Sanskrit, the esoteric, but many do not accept it. We get the language of the wineskins, okay, the bottles, these vestures, okay, and many make a choice to come back in, to be born again, to play their roles. Many, you're born once, after that is judgment, and you're on your way home if you are belonging to the Lord, or you're stuck until you come into sentience, and then you make your transitioning up to the high octaves, where you can make another choice to be born again into these realms, these ages, these worlds. I'm not saying this one. It won't be this one. You'll be relocated in a world like this world, yet not like this world. There's a lot going on. Again, I shared this with you. We were part of something very unique. Having scripture be fulfilled in us. We are all witnessing scripture be fulfilled, whether we're conscious of it or not. And from 2012, or should we go back a bit further, we received the first big marker with the event that happened in 2001, 2012, then the Great Revelations 12 sign received back in 2017, and then all the celestial events and things that have just been, should we say, escalating. We grew exponentially in our awakening as we were seeing the end of the age go into a degradation, a pattern foretold us in the Bible that we bear witness to. We're part of something very unique. Now, others are completely unaware of what's going on. They think it's reality. They've got this Faraday cage over their head. We are not to be concerned about that. We hand them over to Father with love and gratitude and service of others. Putting people first, being a life-giving spirit. With your meekness, you go forward. We're going through the 7 eyes of the Lamb. We're here to shine our light as well as learn. We come out with great possessions, with great wisdom, etc. This is the works of Father with us. You do not act alone. Now again, with what I saw in a dream with my mum, being this, and it's the only way I could describe, well, I know it. It was though I intuitively knew she was referred to as a Greek goddess. This is in connection with her soul, the framework of the spirit man within her. When I saw the curls and the way that she looked, the attire, it was studying all the mythology and symbology, all the characters that I could, see my mum being a Greek goddess was the last thing I would have expected. But here I am in a dream getting confirmation of what I am, which I know from all the disclosure I've received, but took me by surprise to see my mum in a prime, but radiating and coming across as though it was a Greek goddess. And I know the spiritual realm love my mum, and my mum's also been told that by her neighbour, Veronica. And I actually questioned this with Father, and he said, yeah, she belongs to me. My family is very unique. Like I've mentioned in the channel, my son has had these visions. He's seen the All-Father, Mother, Daughter and Son. We seem to be connected to some sort of royalty on the spiritual plane. Now, again, I don't say that to make us, to boast or to say anything is special about us, because what is true about us is true about you too. Many out there are in the same patterns. They've played the same roles. There's nothing special here. It's just unique, and I'm sharing it. Many of you are going to be dumbfounded with the things you have done in your past lives. Okay, if you're drawn to people, peculiar people like myself, guaranteed you're going to be shocked of some of the roles that you've played. All right, we are all destined to return home, where we are all equal and the same in spirit and truth, yet you are God's unique thumbprint. That's his curriculum, that you are the apple of his eye, the unique aperture of God, where he has an idea of himself in you as you. We're told this in the Bible. Now, I also say this because many of us feel as though there's a strong connection with that which is ancient. I know what I do. I'm very connected to the ancient ages. As I mentioned, I woke up one day and I kept hearing, you're the Ancient of Days. You're the Ancient of Days. And I was saying, Father, I know you're the Ancient of Days. What's this referring to? And he was referring to me, a very old soul. And many of you out there are actually very old souls. And we get a language in the Bible. Father won't actually reveal it to some of them until they break through. Then you receive disclosure, as mentioned by Thoth the Atlantean in the Emerald Tablets. You receive disclosure and a great revealing. What do you think this revealing is? Not just the realm that you're in, who you are. It's a complex thought, and there's so much more to you. You get so much revealed to you, it can be overwhelming and heavy. We've been in this profound sleep on these long journeys, and now we're part of something very unique in our return home with the Great Awakening, where there's going to be restoration and healing. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope this inspires and helps. Like I said, you're a multi-dimensional being, and you've done this many times. And there is souls who are new to the family, to the heavenly origins. Jesus Christ is all about his heavenly origins, not the earth. as we're told in the Bible. He's all about his angels. The souls, the spirits, those who are connected to source, those who have come from the first earthly man Adam, the start comes out of Jacob, to the heavenly man Adam, where there is a celebration and feast at the end of the play. We're at the end. Keep watch. Love you guys.